This video is brought to you by The Patcher. More on them at the end of this video. Howdy y'all! As I've done in previous sport VR comparison videos, I think it is very important to qualify my real life experience with the sport before we hop into my takes and opinions on the games themselves. Ping pong is a game I have extensive experience in. I went to a large D1 university and played frequently in common areas, competed in tournaments, and one time won my college's yearly intramural tournament. In addition to this, I occasionally keep up to date with highlights of pro table tennis. This is a comparison video that I was very excited to dive into, so without further ado, let's hop right in. Both games offer realistic hitting mechanics for how you would expect table tennis to feel. Bouncing off of the table, and AI competitors do a great job of tracking how I would expect the ball to feel. Where they differ is the extreme difference in the variety of realistic hitting options. 11 largely focuses on the rackets that pros use, while Racket Fury seems to be focused on the rackets normal people at a rec center might use. For those who don't know, pros generally use rubber surfaces, also called pips-in surfaces, for their rackets to generate high spin and touch. Whereas most of the ones you find at a rec center are called pips out, where the surface is harder with bumps coming off of it. These types of rackets stifle spin and produce heavy power. At base, there isn't an issue with this. However, this shows a real problem with Racket Fury in custom racket settings. Both games allow you to adjust spin and power, while 11 offers a few more additional options that are really only needed for top level competitors. The problem is though, that the max spin availability in Racket Fury is incredibly low. Even some beginner table tennis players will not be able to hit close to their real life form due to this. On the 11 side of things, you can bring the speed and friction coefficient down to achieve pretty much the same exact racket type that Racket Fury tries to emulate. This puts Racket Fury at a serious disadvantage when it comes to being able to hold on to a serious player base that also plays table tennis frequently in real life. In terms of racket physics, 11 already has what Racket Fury offers and then brings more to the table. Okay. I had to record this real quick because I realized that I forgot about this in the editing. Racket Fury also has an arcade mode as well as a simulation mode. The simulation mode is the one that I've been talking about, where it tries to simulate real life. And they also have an arcade mode, which tries to take your movement and based on what it's doing, they're trying to figure out what did you mean to try to do. And so it's really good, and that's something that 11 does not offer. And so if you're playing with little kids or with someone who's just not as able to swing a ping pong paddle, that's a really good option, and it's one of the big things that Racket Fury has that 11 doesn't. I'm sorry that I forgot about it. It doesn't change much of my opinions further on in this video, but I do think it's important to note. Thanks. On the other hand, the environments and avatars provided by Racket Fury are significantly prettier. Your AI buddies are these cool floating robots that are fully animated with moving bodies and arms. These are also your opponents in the single player campaign that is available as you seek to climb through the ranks and get in-game currency to buy robot customizable items. This campaign, along with a relatively bare-bones practice mode, is the extent of which the player options are available. 11 is sadly missing a campaign mode like this, but I think it makes up for it in the extensive options regarding practice and a couple of small mini-games. When you open to the game, you are immediately in the table tennis setting where you can play against an AI with little friction to get into playing or choosing the AI's setting. If you decide you want a more focused warm-up or practice session, the 11 devs have built an extremely customizable ball machine that adds spin, power, and movement between different shots based on what you choose. The mini-games available are a version of beer pong where you attempt to sink as many as you can in a given time, and then the best one, in my opinion, is the zones minigame, where you're given faster and faster balls from the machine with a moving goal on the table to try to hit. This is a really fun way to practice, however I do wish that you could speed up the first section of play as it does kind of drag. The community and multiplayer aspect of these two games is where everything takes a turn for the worse for Racket Fury. Both offer the ability to create rooms, match automatically for ranked play, and request opponents to play directly. The request option in 11 is a direct offer, while Racket Fury focuses on the public room invites. Here's the kicker though. I got online around 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for Racket Fury, and there were 4 people online all the way around the globe. The matchmaking is done by server location, and I went through every single one for 20 to 30 minutes and could not get a match with anyone. You can go online in 11 at any time of the day with no fail to find at least somebody who is willing to play with you. In addition to this, the 11 Discord is very active with seasonal tournaments, prize pools, and encouragement of practice and purchase for controller attachments to help those around them play at a higher level. Going through their discords and social medias, Racket Fury's development team is not properly addressing the community, and it makes me concerned that those that purchase Racket Fury will not have people to play with now, and especially down the road. Unlike previous comparisons, this is a strong win for purchasing 11 over purchasing Racket Fury. 11 offers everything that Racket Fury offers and much, much more, with the only exceptions being the environments and AI avatars. I do think, however, that Racket Fury has a massive opportunity to go after a slightly different niche with their already built physics engine. I believe they could go after a very casual market by adding extreme spin, extreme power, and some power-ups that change the game from that recreation center table tennis feel to an explosive table tennis game that people couldn't experience in real life. I also think that matches kind of the logo, the way they market the game, and the cool robots that are already in it. Obviously, if that's not on the heart of the devs, then I understand why they wouldn't, but the game doesn't have a strong future for realistic ping pong as it stands right now. Thanks for watching the video. I really appreciate your time and viewership. If you'd like to join the community, I host monthly VR tournaments and community nights in my Discord. I would love for you to drop by, say hi, and get involved. On top of that, we are always talking about new news and events in social and casual sport VR. Look forward to seeing you around.